Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the session. My name is 𝐸𝐴𝐻-𝐾, your host and the trainer of Selenium certification program. Now let's get started. Before we get going, you guys would like to understand about automation testing. Okay, automation testing. Okay, many of you might be manual test engineer, or you might be a support engineer, or you might be in automation testing, but you might want to enhance your knowledge related to the programming skill, programmatical skills, plus the top trending standards for automation testing. Those are things you might be thinking about. So you are on the correct place. So let's get started with automation testing first, and let's understand what happens over here. Automation testing. So before that, what does that come? So before automation testing, we get to see manual testing. Okay, you might be thinking the manual testing can be removed from the market very soon. It can be wiped off. This job can be wiped off from the market very soon. But let me tell you, it's very, very difficult to wipe off the manual testing job, because actually the heavy lifting is actually done by the manual testers. Okay, they go through the business of the code. Okay, they go through the business of the entire project. They go through the understanding of the each and every feature and functionalities of the application. They try to destruct the application in all possible ways so that it can become constructive and it can stay robust into the market. Correct. So actually the heavy lifting is actually done by them, because they are also doing the reporting part. Okay, every day they are doing the reporting part. Every day they are writing one type of document which is known as test documents. Okay, and in this test documents we can have test scenarios. Okay, we can have test scenarios, and we can have test cases as well. Okay, now what are test scenarios and test cases? These are two type of documents. Very easy. One type of these are two type of documents, and they follow one type of format. When I say test scenario, it is something, do something. Okay, it is like do something, do and check. Okay, provide valid credentials to the Facebook login page and check. You are provide login credentials to the Facebook login page and click on login button. Check if you are able to go on to the timeline page, if you are able to log into the application. Okay, this is scenario. Okay, now the test scenarios are actually decomposed and utilized to create test cases. Now, what are test cases? Now, test cases are nothing but a type of a document which will have test scenarios, plus test data. Okay, plus test data and lot of potentiality to find a bug or defect in the application. Okay, so test cases are nothing but a type of a document which contains test scenarios. Okay, which are test cases are nothing but which are type of a document which are created by the help of test scenarios only, and contains lot of parameters, means lot of test data. Okay, now what happens? Why I'm talking about manual testing, man? What is the need of it? So this is nothing but a test case, right? This is nothing but a test case. Now this test case gets converted into test script. Okay, this test case gets converted into test script. So this is test script. And what happens with this? So with this test script, what actually happens is, if you run this test script, this test script automatically goes and validates the application. So I can write it as automatically validates. Okay, validates application. It automatically validates its applications. Okay, now let's understand what actually goes into writing this. By the way, who writes this? This test script is written by automation test engineers. Okay. Now let me tell you, test cases are written by whom? Manual test engineers. Okay, manual test engineers. Okay, now this test script is actually written by the help of one of the tool, which is known as Selenium, which is actually a community. From Selenium community, one tool comes which is known as WebDriver. Okay, so Selenium is actually a community. Okay, Selenium is actually a community in which WebDriver is the tool that you have to understand. Okay, now to interact with this Selenium, you might need one type of language that it understands, correct? But Selenium has a lot of programming language support. Okay, Selenium has a lot of programming knowledge support. So one of the programming language support is core Java, very famous. You'll get enough support about this in the community because it has been there in the market from more than 20, 25 years, 26 years. It has celebrated its own silver jubilee as well. Okay, Python has also celebrated its own silver jubilee. Both of them got started at this almost at the same time itself. Okay, by the way, when I tell you Python is also there in the market, Ruby is also there, C# is also there. Okay, Perl is also there. So every language, okay, all of these languages that I showed, okay, they all work good with Selenium, but most famous is core Java. Okay, most famous is actually core Java. Okay. Okay, so now this core Java is actually one type of a medium to convey my messages, what my manual test engineers are doing in terms of the test cases to Selenium. And Selenium, with the help of Selenium, you'll create one type of a document which will be similar to the test cases. Okay, but only thing is these test cases, these English statement test cases are going to be executed by manual test engineers. They need one guy. They need one guy to execute this. Okay, they need one guy to execute this. But since you have used Selenium, you have replaced this guy. Okay, you have replaced this guy with Selenium, and Selenium has produced one type of a document called test script. Now this test script will run automatically and it will validate the application. Okay, so validation is happening automatically. Now let me tell you, since you have applied for few things like this, okay, like core Java and Selenium. Okay, by the way, you have only applied for Selenium, but you are also going to get a lot of knowledge from the core Java point of view. Okay, now when you learn one type of programming language, Java is nothing but a programming language, correct? Java is nothing but one type of programming language. When you learn one type of programming language and one type of a tool, okay, tool, software, application, app, okay, and tools, everything means software only. Okay, so one programming language, one tool. When you know, you become what? You become automation test engineer. Okay, you become automation test engineer. Okay, do we have like, can you show me career progression wise, like down the line, if I would like to earn little more package, how can I go ahead? Okay, you are just to distinguish yourself on the resume or just to distinguish yourself in the interview room, how would you distinguish your skills that you only know core Java and you know Selenium? By the way, Selenium is one of the easiest tool in the market. Okay, so by knowing core Java and Selenium, you are becoming what? Automation test engineer. Now, so when I say automation test engineer is nothing but core Java plus Selenium. Okay, WebDriver. Now, when I say automation test engineer or automation testing plus one course is also there, DevOps for automation. Okay, when I say only DevOps, it is little vast. Okay, when I say only DevOps, it is little vast, development plus operation. Okay, so with automation testing, you will attain, with automation testing, you will attain 80% of automation. 20% of automation can be added with the help of DevOps for automation. Now, what you are going to learn in this DevOps for automation, this is very niche down course wherein only two tools you have to learn. Whether you learn it over here, whether you learn it by reading any article, whether you learn it through any YouTube videos, or you learn it by hook or by crook in the company, okay, you will have to come across these two tools, that is Git and Jenkins. Okay, very short tool. It is not like Selenium WebDriver, how much time it is going to take. It is not going to take. Git is, whether you learn it anywhere or not, you will come across this Git to preserve your code. Where do you keep your code? Say for example, if I tell you to keep your photos, where do you keep your photos? In album. Okay, nowadays your digital photos are there. Where do you keep your digital photos? In Google Photos. Okay, correct. So if I say, if you have to keep your code, where do you keep your code? So there are code keeping repositories which are known as version control tools. Okay, like today you wrote some piece of code, and next day you added some piece of code on top of it. Next day you added some other piece of code on top of it. So every day one version of the code is there. Okay, if you have to backtrack, like 4 days back, whatever the code was there, let's go back over there. So that is what version controlling you are doing. So version control system. So Git is what? Git is what? Git is actually version, or I'll say, I can say version control system. In another words, it can also be called as configuration version control system. Okay, that is fine. Okay, this Git, if you learn Git, there are many vendors for like for Git. Okay, we have one vendor is like Bitbucket. Okay, now do you need to learn Bitbucket also? No. If you learn the soul of how to keep your code, then you will be able to if you learn the soul of managing the code, how do you manage the code on Git? Same way you will be able to manage the code on Bitbucket also. Correct. So on Jenkins also, what is Jenkins? Jenkins is something which will run your code every day automatically. It will trigger your code. It will trigger your code every day automatically. Okay. Then it is known as 100% automation. Means you are not going and triggering the automation code. Your automation code is getting triggered 100% automatically. Say for example, 12 a.m. midnight, when everyone is at sleep, automatically your code is getting triggered and automatically it is running. Correct. So this is full automation. Okay. Now this is very niche down course, actually, DevOps for automation. Now it is, if you want, you can go ahead for it. If you don't want, it is good that at least get the understanding of automation testing. It does not require any amount, like any extra amount of time to understand this. Automation testing is nothing but one programming language plus Selenium WebDriver tool. Okay. Okay. Now, boss, I'm very much afraid of learning core Java. Okay. Say, for example, any of the programming language. If I say any of the programming language are there, any of the programming language, say, for example, I take core Java. Core Java will have 2 points. Okay. One is theory and one is program. Simple. Every programming language will have the same thing, correct? So when I say 80% of theory is same and 20% of the theory differs in everyone, because core Java is object oriented programming language. Okay. Plus it is procedural language also. procedural language also. You might not be able to understand what it is. Okay, object oriented means we create objects over here. Okay, so now I just want to tell you that, see, theoretically every programming language, okay, if I remove core Java, theoretically every programming language is 80% is same. 20% syntactical changes will happen. But do you know what happens at one place? Okay, here I'll just write syntax changes. Very small thing, correct? Now over here, when I say programs, when you write programs, any program written in any language is independent of programming language. It is independent of programming language. So if you learn one programming language very hard, okay, which is actually not hard. Okay, if you learn one programming language good, so 80% and programming concept, if you are able to do both the things, only when you have to thereafter, if you have to jump onto any other programming language, you will just have to prepare for 20%. Correct? You will have to just prepare for 20%, and 20% of the syntactical changes, like jumping from core Java to Python, would be so easy because core Java has little vast concept. Okay, lot many topics are there in core Java, but every topic is of 5 minutes, not more than that. Okay, so unless you come for collections and all, which is collection of like 5 minutes each topic will be there. So in core Java, there are a lot of topics. Do we need to learn everything? No. In core Java also, whatever thing we will be learning selectively. Okay, we will be learning selectively whatever things are required for automation testing. Correct? That's how we conquer core Java, and we take core Java because from core Java going to Python would be very, very easy. But Python is super duper easy language. So from Python, if you have to jump onto any other language, it will be very difficult for you. Correct? So if you learn core Java, jumping onto any other programming language will be super duper easy. Does that mean core Java is very difficult? No, it's very easy. Okay, you just think I am not the one from IT background. I also came from petroleum department. I had studied IT thing in my own like courses in my BTech, but I was actually afraid of programming languages. But when I got very good guidance, I got to see that I was never afraid of programming language. I was always afraid whether I'll be able to learn it or not, or it will be suspended in between. Okay, whether my learning will be suspended in between. Okay, this was the issue actually. Okay, now let me show you the code of automation. How does it look like? And don't worry about looking at the code. So this is the project, one of the ongoing project. And say, for example, this goes like this. Your project will look like this. The folder structure will look like this. Each and every part of it will go into very great detail. If you expand it, you'll get to see 2 packages are there. Okay, this package is one of the topic, and WebDriver is one of the topic, with the help of which we try to get the control of the browser. So if I double click over here, I get to see that some code has been written. Okay, I'm not able to understand what this code is, but don't worry. If you just run this code, run as Java application, and you get to see that I'm not doing anything. My cursor is over here, and every execution will be happening in front of you. Browser will be invoked, and it will go to Facebook. Yep, browser has been invoked. Now it will maximize the browser. It will go to Amazon. It will click on mobile section. Now it will go back to Amazon page. And will close the browser. Automatically the browser has been closed, and lot many things have been opened over here. First link was facebook.com, and the test case has passed. So user is on Amazon landing page and then navigated back to Amazon page. then navigated forward to mobile's page, you have been able to delete all the cookies successfully, and you are able to refresh the web page. This is how your automation code also works. It is pretty easy. Once you have done core Java, you need not to understand every bit of it. Automatically it appears. Okay. Everything you might be confused. Array, so many characters are there. Which all characters to remember? What all characters I'll not be able to remember. Don't worry. When you are trying to judge yourself by looking at it, at least 10% you should be able to understand. You will not be able to. Okay, because this is 10th step. This is 10th step. There are 9 more steps created. Okay, just to understand like what all things you are writing it over here. So this is the building of foundation. On the 10th step, you start your Selenium journey. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye and take care. May God give you all the dream packages that you are looking for. Thank you.